Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Baina Midday News, coming to you live from our news hub, Atomic Junction, Benab House, Accra. My name is Fauzi Abdallah. Coming up this afternoon. President Mahama has dismissed petitions calling for the removal of the EC's chairperson and the OSP. And in business, government has paid 10 billion Ghana cedis in interest obligations under the domestic debt exchange program. And on the international front, Peru's Congress has ousted interim President Jose Heri just 4 months after he took office. These and many more stories coming up in the next few minutes. Do stay. You're welcome back. You're watching Baina Midday News and we're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube at Baina TV. Now let's move to our very first story. And President John Dramani Mahama has dismissed multiple petitions calling for the removal of the Electoral Commission chairperson, her deputies, and a special prosecutor, following a determination by the Chief Justice that no prima facie case existed for further action, according to Joy News sources. The petitions were received by Jubilee House in late 2025, with the Minister of State in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwachi Ofosu, confirming that 10 separate petitions had been filed under the constitutional removal process.
7 of these targeted EC Chair Jane Mensah and her 2 deputies, Dr. Bosman, Eric Asare and Samuel Tete, while 3 sought the removal of Special Prosecutor Kisie Jabin. These petitions were duly referred to Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni for preliminary constitutional scrutiny as required under Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution. The grounds cited by petitioners, including some lodged by an EC staff member, alleged misconduct ranging from cronyism and abuse of office to gross incompetence that, in their view, have eroded public confidence in the institutions being targeted. The petitioner against the EC leadership, Joseph Blankson Adumaji, outlined a series of concerns about administration and integrity, although his exact complaints remain legally confined due to constitutional confidentiality provisions. However, after reviewing the petitions, the Chief Justice determined that no prima facie case existed to justify further investigations or the establishment of a formal inquiry committee. This constitutional threshold must be met before a 5-member tribunal can be constituted to investigate allegations of stated misbehavior, incompetence, or incapacity, the only grounds on which such office holders can be removed. Since that test was not met, the process effectively ends with the Chief Justice's decision, Common Constitutional Procedure under Article 146. In response, the Presidency issued a statement noting that, in line with constitutional requirement, President Mahama had fulfilled his obligation by forwarding the petitions to the judiciary, but that the absence of a prima facie case precluded any further action. The petition drew attention not only to the targeted officials but to broader public public debate over accountability and institutional independence. Critics had argued that the processes around high-level removal petitions should be handled with care and confidentiality until formal thresholds are met to protect institutional integrity and reputations. The dismissal of the petition underscores the strict constitutional safeguards Ghana's legal framework imposes on the removal of head of independent state institutions. These safeguards are intended to balance accountability with protection against unfounded or politically motivated efforts to unseat office holders without clear evidence of misconduct. With the period for establishing a prima facie case concluded, Jean Mensah and her deputies at the EC as well as Special Prosecutor Kisie Jabin will remain in office as the institutions continue their work ahead of upcoming national electoral cycles.
Moving on to our next story, the Ghana Police Service has intercepted a truck loaded with more than 3,000 slabs of substances suspected to be narcotics in the Greater Accra region. 2 men have also been arrested for allegedly attempting to bribe police officers in connection with the incident. In a statement issued on Wednesday, February 18th, the Tema Regional Police Command said the operation took place in the early hours of February 15th.
According to the statement, an intelligence-led operation by the officers of the Regional Patrols Unit on 15th February 2026 at about 10 a.m. led to the interception of a Sino-Truck tipper truck registration number GN 993-14 at Seje Apla Manya in the Greater Accra region. Police said the vehicle was loaded with fertilizer sacks which concealed 3,009 slabs of plant materials suspected to be cannabis, and upon sighting the police, the driver abandoned the vehicle and fled. The truck and its contents have since been impounded at the Tema Regional Headquarters to aid investigations. Police added that efforts are ongoing to arrest the driver and to verify the ownership of the vehicle. In a related development, 2 men were arrested the following day for allegedly attempting to bribe officers handling the case. The statement said that on 16 February 2026, at about 7:10 p.m., 2 suspects, Victor Ashigbe, 40, and Peter Ashigbe, 35, were arrested for attempting to bribe police officers at the regional CID office in Tema with a cash sum of 150,000 Ghana cedis in an attempt to unlawfully influence officers to release the vehicle and the suspected narcotic substances. Police confirmed that the money has been retrieved and kept as evidence. The 2 suspects are currently in custody assisting with investigation. They are expected to be arraigned before the court on 18th February 2026. The Tema Regional Police Command assured the public of its continued efforts to tackle drug-related offences. It said it remains committed to combating narcotic-related offences and maintaining the highest standards of integrity in the discharge of its duties.
Moving on further, Mohammed Dassid Foundation has distributed Ramadan relief packages to about 200 families to help them prepare for the holy month of Ramadan. The donation exercise targeted vulnerable groups, including orphans and persons living with disabilities, as part of efforts to ease the burden of the fasting period on needy households.
Items presented in the package included essential food supplies such as rice, sugar, cooking oil, and other basic commodities required for daily meals during Ramadan. Speaking on behalf of the foundation, Sheikh Mustafa Ibrahim said the initiative formed part of its annual humanitarian activities aimed at promoting compassion, unity, and social responsibility within the Muslim community. They noted that supporting the less privileged during Ramadan reflects the values of charity and kindness taught in Islam. Some beneficiaries expressed gratitude to the foundation for the timely support, describing the gesture as a great relief as they prepare to observe the fast. The foundation reaffirmed its commitment to continue assisting vulnerable families and strengthening community welfare through similar outreach programs.
Now, away from that, the government of Ghana has summoned the ambassador of the Russian Federation to Ghana following what it describes as the unlawful conduct of a supposed Russian national accused of publishing sexually explicit images of Ghanaian women without their consent. In a press release issued on Tuesday, February 17, 2026, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirmed that His Excellency Sergei Bednikov was invited on the instruction of the Minister for Foreign Affairs to formally register the government's strong protest over the incident.
In pursuing justice in the matter, Ambassador Benikov acknowledged the seriousness of the allegations, including the privacy breaches and broader cybercrime implications. He expressed the willingness of the Russian Federation to cooperate with Ghana's authority in addressing the issue. However, the ambassador indicated that he was unable to confirm the Russian nationality of the individual at the center of the viral videos. He further disclosed that this is not recognized as a known Russian name and constitutes an inappropriate or vulgar expression in Russian language. He also revealed that similar alleged activities linked to the same individual in other countries had to come to the attention of Russian authorities and were currently under investigation by experts in Russia. The ambassador pledged that the Russian embassy in Accra will share irrelevant information to support Ghana's ongoing effort to identify, apprehend, and prosecute the suspect. He noted that this cooperation would take place within the framework of the long-standing bilateral relation between Ghana and Russia, despite the absence of a legally binding extradition treaty between the two countries. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs assured the public that it remains committed to leveraging the cordial ties between Ghana and Russia and will explore all available international mechanisms and remedies to ensure justice is served. According to the ministry,
You're still watching Baina Midday News. We'll be back with more stories after this break. To stay.
Privacy and dignity.
It's 4 a.m. The world is still and hearts are awake. This Ramadan, join Imam Abdul Razak Idris Al Hassan on Baina TV for a special tafsir series guiding you through the Quran with wisdom, reflection, and inspiration. Understand the meaning behind every verse, reflect on its lessons, and connect your heart to the words of Allah.
Zaman ka wurin duban ball bai sa a titi mun ka ko ilus. Kila ban ka je kai sallah kai addu'a sun ci.
Before the day begins, start your mornings with spiritual insights, prayer, and peace. Let the Quran illuminate your day from the first light of dawn. Ramadan Tafsir daily at 4 a.m. with Imam Abdul Razak Idris Al Hassan. Tune in and let the Quran guide your hearts this holy month. To place your advertisement on this program, call 0539 487757.
You're welcome back. If you just tuned in, you're watching Baina Midday News, and we're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube at Baina TV. Now let's delve into the world of business, and the government has announced the payment of 10 billion Ghana cedis in interest obligations under the Domestic Debt Exchange Program. In a statement issued on Wednesday, February 18, 2026, the Ministry of Finance said the payment represents the 6th coupon settlement under the program and the second full cash payment made without any payment in kind component. The ministry explains that the settlement covered CD-denominated DDEP coupon obligations in accordance with the restructuring memorandum and the government's broader debt management and fiscal consolidation strategy. It noted that the timely payment demonstrates improved fiscal strength and solvency and is expected to support Ghana's credit outlook while enhancing stability within the financial sector, including banks and pension funds. According to the ministry, the development also sends a positive signal to investors and strengthens confidence in the economy. And in some news beyond our borders, Peru's Congress has ousted interim President Jose Heri just 4 months after he took office for failing to disclose meetings with Chinese businessmen. The scandal unfolded last month after videos emerged of Heri meeting several times outside his official schedule with businessman Xinhua Yang, who was under government scrutiny. Heri had previously apologized for the meetings but denied any wrongdoing and accused his rivals of a public smear campaign.
His removal from office makes him the 3rd consecutive president to be ousted after he replaced former leader Dina Boluarte, who was impeached in October last year. Heri was Peru's 7th president since 2016 amid a tumultuous political landscape that has seen a succession of leaders leave the post under contentious circumstances. He was not elected by the Peruvian people, but as head of Congress, he was sworn in as president after his predecessor, Dina Boluarte, was impeached in October 2025. While lawmakers had set a day to discuss impeaching Heri, in the end, they opted for a different parliamentary procedure called censure, which only required a simple majority to pass rather than the supermajority needed for an impeachment. Later on Wednesday, Congress will name a new interim president who will serve only for a few months until a new president is chosen by the people in a general election this April. Heri had come under fire following a series of controversies dubbed Shifagate, after a local name for Chinese Peruvian fusion food and the restaurants which serve it. Security camera footage of Heri meeting with Yang, who owns several businesses and was granted a state concession for an energy project, was first reported by local media. In one of the videos, Heri could be seen wearing a hooded top during a late-night visit at one of Yang's restaurants. Also present at one of the meetings was another Chinese citizen who was under house arrest while being investigated for alleged link to an illegal timber network. Peruvian law requires presidents to document all their official activities, but Heri did not record those meetings. Heri faced further criticism after it emerged that state contracts had been awarded to a number of women following late-night meetings they had had with him in the presidential palace. Pressure had been mounting for Heri to resign in the wake of the scandals as he faced a corruption investigation launched by the Attorney General and his approval ratings plummeted. His removal marks another chapter of instability for Peru, which is due to hold a general election in April, after which power will be transferred to a new president.
And in the world of sports, Accra Hearts of Oak has filed a complaint with FIFA against South African side Siwelele Football Club for topping up its player Hamza Issa. In a statement on Wednesday, the club said it was alarmed by the conduct of Siwelele Football Club of South Africa, which engaged the player, issued an invitation and facilitated travel arrangements without notifying or seeking the consent of Hartlefolk, despite the existence of an active contract. The statement comes amid reports of the player's imminent move to the South African side. However, Hearts insists that the player is still under contract. In December, Issa's representative threatened to terminate his contract, accusing the club of not paying the player for 3 months. While Hearts have not admitted to such contractual breaches, the club admits it has been in talks with Issa and his representatives to settle outstanding concerns. Hamza Issa has scored 4 goals in 20 league matches this season. And this brings us to the end of today's news bulletin. For more news, you can visit our website at www.bainamultimedia.com. My name is Fawzia Abdullah. Do have a good afternoon.